Hello and welcome back to Under the Visor, your weekly-ish Formula One podcast where one of us knows exactly what he's talking about.
And the other one is Karl.
That's me.
And I'm Tom.
And that's you. This week, we're looking back at the 2026 Belgian Grand Prix. We had close quali battles, a stack of grid penalties, opening lap chaos, strategy swings, and another huge win for our championship leader.
We'll also cover the main news stories, look back at our predictions, and then finish with a quick preview of Hungry People.
I've just had 2 dinners. I'm not that hungry at the minute.
That's what we're doing, isn't it? Hungry.
Oh, it's the Hungarian Grand Prix, yes.
Got it. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll also cover the main news stories and look back at our predictions, and then finish with a quick look at Hungry Grand Prix.
Correct. That's it. Nailed it. Twice.
We can cut that bit.
What, that you didn't press record?
We'll cut that bit as well.
Twice.
Cut that bit.
We'll do that cut bit. Okay. Are you going to address the elephant in the room first?
Yes. So apologies we're late. I have been very busy. I had a 21st birthday to go to. There's loads of stuff going on. And yeah, so it's my fault we're late, but we are here. We are recording it. I know you've all been dying. All 5 of you that watch it are dying to see what we've got to say about the Belgian Grand Prix. So apologies, we're here, and we'll go straight into the news.
Yes, we will start with Red Bull because, and I might butcher the name, but Gwen Legru, sounds like something out of Despicable Me, who played an important role in Mercedes Junior program and identifying Kimi, is reportedly leaving Mercedes to lead Red Bull's driver development program. How significant is that, Tom?
It's very significant, I would say. So Red Bull have always relied heavily on finding and promoting young talent, but their junior system has looked less effective recently than it did with Vettel and Verstappen's era. Hiring somebody strong associated with Antonelli suggests they want to refresh the process, and they do rely on it. But I'll also give a caveat to that. That Red Bull car is designed for Max Verstappen. So anybody who can get near driving it, as Isack Hadjar is doing it, Hadjar, let's call him that from now on, Hadjar.
Hadjar!
Who left that door ajar? Is remarkable. So it's a bit like the Schumacher era. Nobody could really get close to Schumacher in the Ferrari because the Ferrari was designed for Schumacher. Yeah. So we've got to give a bit of a caveat to that.
Yeah, but with Verstappen's uncertainty around his long-term future, we kind of need to think beyond just next season, don't we, with Red Bull?
Yeah, exactly. It's less about finding an immediate replacement and more about building the next generation of Red Bull drivers.
Yeah. Sticking with Red Bull, they are also reportedly preparing for Tom Hart to become Max's new race engineer, replacing Lambiase. The change is expected to take full effect next season, although I believe he's going to be doing a couple of races here or there to kind of try and settle in with Max for the rest of this season.
It will be a difficult relationship to replace, I'd say. A race engineer is the main connection between the driver and the wider engineer team. Is it Lambiase?
That's what the news article said.
Well, I don't know. Who's the owner of Red Bull? I thought that was Lambiase. I might be wrong here. Stand by.
Laura Mekies.
Mekies, that's it. So it is Lambiase.
Yes.
I don't.
Sorry, the first result when I googled that was the Oracle Red Bull Racing F1 team is owned by the Austrian energy drink conglomerate Red Bull.
Brilliant. But Lambiase does understand Verstappen's feedback, moods, and communication styles after years of working together. So even a very talented replacement will need time to build the relationship, I would say.
Yeah. And then I'm not going to bore us with more Max rumours for a 12th week in a bloody row. But just to recap, he was asked at Spa in the press conference about the rumours linking him with Mercedes. They asked whether he had anything to add. He said no. They asked what he thought of the speculation. He said nothing.
With McLaren
and when
or Mercedes?
it was specific. Well, it was about all of the rumours, basically. But I think they specifically on that one said Mercedes, but they did ask about McLaren as well.
Okay.
And when asked what he thought of the speculation, he said nothing. And when asked whether he was fully committed to Red Bull for the next season in 2027, he said, "There's nothing to say."
Yeah, he didn't deny it.
No. No.
And not denying it is as good as confirming he's going somewhere.
Yes.
I would say.
Well, we've discussed it enough.
Yeah.
We've said what we think. But yeah. Moving on to Ollie Bearman. He's also responded to rumours that Red Bull could be interested in him if Verstappen does leave. He said he was flattered, but stressed that Ferrari and his current work at Haas remains his priorities. He did also admit, though, that he does not yet have a contract for next season.
Yeah, Bearman is in an interesting position. Ferrari have supported him for years, but there is no obvious route into the senior team at the moment. If another top team made a serious offer, he would have to consider it, regardless of loyalty. So,
yeah, I mean, I really like Bearman. I think he's a really nice lad. I would like to see him at a good team. I don't want to see him out of a contract next season.
I don't think he will be. I think it's all going to fall into place, and I'll be right.
When are you wrong?
Thank you. Glad
and then we had one of the strangest Formula 2 disqualifications. Now, I put this in the episode notes, thinking you'd know nothing about this, and I'd be surprising you with it. And then today you sent me the clip. And I was like, brilliant. I can't drop it on you now. But Noel Leon was disqualified from the Spa F2 feature race because one of his personal garage guests picked up a communications headset during the red flag period and was told to remove it, but continued using it.
Just basically, and I've met these people before. You invite somebody into the garage who's a mate or something like that, and they suddenly think they are untouchable. They've been invited by the driver. And it's just so silly. And the fact that he put it back on again or whatever. And I believe from what I've heard is he said, "Oh, it doesn't matter because the microphone's pointing."
The microphone was up. So how it works is we see them all the time. We see all the celebrities or family members with the headphones on during the race in the garage. Those headphones are listen only.
Yeah.
And all they can do is listen to what's going on.
Yeah.
But because that had a microphone and the ability to communicate, that's why it was such a big thing. He tried to say, but the microphone was up, so it doesn't matter. But it's not about that.
Also, it was
about the capabilities.
It was Noel Leon's best result ever, and also we've got to like Noel Leon because his name is the same forwards and backwards.
Oh yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
Noel Leon, it's a brilliant name, and that was his best ever result, and it's got taken away from him.
And he drives a race car, which is race car backwards.
Going forward, Under the Visor will be just me.
Wait, don't you like my little snippets?
Yeah, I do.
Of
Have you got any more?
Finally, Formula 1 reportedly had a mid-September deadline to decide whether the Qatar and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix are going to go ahead as planned. A number of replacement options have been mentioned, but now Portugal is reportedly on standby.
Wow. Would that be Portimao?
Portimao.
Okay, Portimao.
Yes. You're close.
God, that's going back.
It's not one of your first languages.
No, that's Spanish. When did they last have a Portuguese Grand Prix? 96, 97?
So they formed part of the F1 Championship between 58 and 60. Then again from 84 to 96.
There we go.
And they last raced there in 2021.
Did they?
Yeah, so they raced there in 2020 and 2021.
Oh, COVID.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it has signed a 2-year agreement to come back 2027 and 2028.
Interesting. Be good to see it.
So we will see it for the next couple of years.
Yeah, no, that will be good.
Yes.
So moving on to Belgium.
Yes. So quick roundup of practice. Max started fastest in FP1 ahead of Lewis and Charles. Red Bull went back to a more conventional rear wing design. They got rid of the Macarena wing, and Max immediately looked competitive.
But as the weekend progressed, the momentum shifted towards Kimi as he topped FP2 and FP3 and looked increasingly comfortable in the Mercedes.
As he does every week. But Lando was also consistently near the front, but Oscar Piastri lost run-in with a hydraulic pressure issue. George also struggled with grip and straight line performance, whilst Isack Hadjar was quick but already facing a move back to the grid for new power unit components.
Ferrari had a mixed session. Hamilton looked fast but crashed heavily in turn 13 in FP3, leaving the team in a race against time to get it ready for qualifying. Leclerc had pace but struggled to put together a completely clean session.
Yes, so going into quali, Kimi looked like the favourite, but Max, Lando and Ferrari, to be fair, were all close enough to be looking to be challenging him.
Yeah.
And then quali, Q1 eliminated Ocon, Bottas, Perez, Alonso, Stroll, normal lot. Aston Martin clearly struggling with both cars out immediately.
Yeah, they were slower than GP2, F2, F3, and the Porsches. They were that slow.
Well, so I saw Stroll get interviewed on his way to the cars. I don't know when it was, whether it's quali or whether it's practice or what. And they were asked how he's feeling with the car this weekend, and he said, even with, and we'll come on to the penalties in a minute, but even with those at the back of the grid with grid penalties, he said we are still going to be slower than them, and they'll be in a different race completely.
Didn't you say when we were watching one of the sessions that they're bringing a second car or something, or they're building a second car?
Yeah, so
I haven't actually looked into that. I just sort of, he's my father.
They are basically building a brand new car.
Right.
From what I've read, I don't know the ins and outs of it or when it's coming, but yeah, they're building another car.
So Q2 then eliminated was Liam Lawson, Pierre Gasly, Franco Colapinto, Nico Hulkenberg, Carlos Sainz, and Ollie Bearman. Hulkenberg also suffered a hydraulic problem and was told to stop the car.
Yeah, and then Q3 became the proper fight for pole. Red Bull used Hadjar to give Verstappen a tow, because as we'll get on to in a minute, Hadjar had a grid penalty, and no matter where he qualified, he was going to be at the back of the grid. So they got him to Q3, used him as a tow for Max, and it worked well enough to put Max in the mix for the battle. Lando briefly held provisional pole, but he abandoned his final run after a moment similar to Hamilton's FP3 crash.
Verstappen then moved provisionally to pole, but Antonelli responded with a lap around 0.3 faster. That was a very strong final effort under pressure, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. But when it come to it, Kimi took pole. Max got second. I did say that he was going to be my biggest surprise of the weekend last week. He wasn't the biggest surprise of the weekend, but he took second. Lando qualified third, although we already knew that he was going to get a 10-place grid penalty, so he got dropped to 13th. Leclerc qualied 4th, Russell 5th, Hamilton 6th, and Lindblad produced an excellent result in 7th.
Antonelli delivered exactly what he needed to, while Red Bull probably maximised what they had throughout the tow, Lindblad was another standout, especially with Racing Bulls bringing a new major update package.
Yes, and then just to address grid penalties, there was quite a few. I think there was 5 in total. So the grid was heavily reshuffled before the race even started. Lando, as I mentioned, took a 10-place drop from 3rd to 13th. Hadjar took enough new components to be sent to the back, regardless of where he qualified.
To where, sorry?
Alonso, regardless.
Oh, right. So English isn't his first language.
Definitely not. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll also received penalties for new power unit elements, and Carlos Sainz become the 5th penalised driver because Williams discovered a battery issue and had to fit a new energy store and control electronics unit.
So try saying that quickly twice.
And Carlos Sainz became the 5th penalty.
Actually,
don't challenge me.
Sainz qualified 15, but started 19th because Williams received approval from the FIA technical delegate to make a change on safety grounds. He was awarded a pit lane start, but the power unit allocation penalty still applied.
Yes. McLaren had deliberately chosen Spa as the place to take Lando's penalty because overtaking is easier there than at some of the upcoming circuits.
Which was logical if you have to take a penalty. Spa is one of the least damaging places to do it.
Yeah. I didn't realise, obviously Spa is the longest circuit at 7 kilometres.
Yeah.
Fun fact, because I'm full of them. Did you know it? So for a track to be allowed, it has to be between 3.5 and 7 kilometres. 7 kilometres being 7,000 metres.
Thank you.
Spa is actually 7,004 metres.
Right.
Fun fact. Also,
okay.
I didn't know this. That normally when they cross the finish line, they then do a lap, come back, go in the pits.
Oh yeah, they
At
don't.
Spa,
yeah.
they go past turn 1 and then do a UE and come back down the pit lane the other way. I didn't know that. And then my third. Yeah,
you've got
and
another
then
one,
we'd be there for another 10 minutes waiting. Then my third one,
right?
I didn't realise it used to be double the length.
Spa.
Yeah, it used to be 14 kilometres.
Oh.
So it had another bit that came off and went on like almost like the actual road, and it was a really, really long straight. It's basically a really long straight with a big U bend and then back the other way with a little bit of a twisty bit. But it was lethal. There's been so many deaths because obviously it's such a long straight at high speed. I'm going back years and years and years and years. And yeah, there was a lot of deaths. So they decided to half it.
Another fact?
Go on.
It still is a main road. And I'll tell you how I know that. So when I went to the Belgian Grand Prix in 2008...
Yeah, we haven't got time for this. So
Fucking have got time. We've just listened to you babble. Right. Be quiet and listen to my exciting story. Got the train. And we were getting the train back, me and my mate. And...
it's a lie, I'm the only one.
Yeah, well, you weren't that round then. You weren't born. Okay. So... We met these people, we got talking to them, and they had a camper van, and they said, oh, we'll give you a lift to the station. Perfect. And the map took us, and we suddenly realised that we were on the track. And we all looked at each other and sort of went, it'd be rude not to do a lap, wouldn't it? So we did a lap of Spa in a VW camper van. Halfway around, we were like, we might do another one. And then by the time we got to the end in a VW camper van, it took us about 20 minutes to get around. Yeah. But yeah, the main street.
Flat Rouge.
We did go for a Rouge. Definitely flat out in a camper van. But the main straight is still a main road. So obviously all the sat-navs are trying to take you on it to get to... I cannot remember where the station was. But yeah, that's my little exciting thing. Team upgrades.
Cool. If you want to laugh, go and have a look at Cadillac's TikTok account, because Bottas is just so funny.
He is funny.
They get him doing all these videos. They had him in a dressing gown going, they told me I was going to have a weekend in a spa. I didn't realise it was Spa, the racetrack. He's just in a dressing gown.
I really like Bottas. That team must be fun. Must be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, upgrades. In terms of upgrades, Mercedes bought 2 performance changes and a circuit-specific rear wing. McLaren bought 1 performance upgrade, 1 circuit-specific change. Red Bull bought a performance upgrade, and obviously they changed the wing. And Ferrari and Aston Martin bought no new parts.
The biggest package, though, came from Racing Bulls, who brought 4 performance upgrades that appeared to work, with Limbad quick throughout the weekend and 7th in qualifying.
Yes, Haas also bought 4 upgrades, whilst Williams, Audi, Alpine, and Cadillac just bought some smaller packages. Shall we discuss the Grand Prix?
Let's.
Antonelli made a really good launch from pole, but Max attacked immediately. Went around the outside, into turn one. Briefly took the lead, heading towards Eau Rouge.
But Antonelli had the better speed on the Kemmel Straight, and Leclerc also got involved. By the end of this sequence, Verstappen had dropped from first to third, and Antonelli was leading, and Leclerc was moving into second.
Yes, but it was all kicking off behind them. George and Lewis made contact. George ended up in the gravel and was out of the race. Safety car was deployed, and Lewis received a 5-second penalty for causing the collision.
Russell later described it as more of a racing incident and said he did not blame Hamilton. But the stewards felt that Hamilton was sufficiently responsible to apply a penalty. Now, do you want to discuss this incident now, or are we discussing it later?
We can discuss it now.
So, the most interesting comment, I think, came from Toto Wolff, because George has been going, I've got no speed down the straight. Now, I'll put this into what I think happened. I think George used far too much. Maybe he's got a little bit of a disadvantage, maybe. But Kimi's flying, so it, you know, and if it was a major problem, they'd have just changed something. Yeah. I think Russell used far too much boost off the line, through Eau Rouge and whatever, and then got dogged on the Kemmel Straight. But the most interesting comment I found was from Toto Wolff. He said, it's 50% the car, 50% the driver. And that's quite a bold statement. And I think, if we talk about driver movements, I don't think George is going to be there at the end of the season.
No, we said this, didn't we, a couple of days ago? We said that it may be that, like Max has a release clause in his contract, Mercedes might have one for George.
Yeah,
and they might
if he's
look
the
to
number one driver,
early.
And he finishes second to the number two, that will trigger a release clause. But yeah, as we said, a disastrous start for Russell, especially when he was already trying to reduce Antonelli's championship lead.
Yes, and he did make his statement about it not blaming Hamilton, etc., holding back tears.
Yeah.
Which is unlike him to be tearful.
Yeah, my favourite thing is all the TikToks always resurface of him when he had to go at Max saying, he's borderline dangerous, and all that George has done this season is cry, moan, and throw things around. So,
yeah. Well, safety car came in, and at the restart, Charles Leclerc got away well and initially kept Verstappen behind him. Hamilton then attacked Piastri and moved ahead, but Piastri fought back almost immediately through Eau Rouge and Radion.
Radion.
Yeah. I'm learning.
That was brave racing, a very high speed. Piastri regained the place, but later made contact with Leclerc while trying to attack. The stewards decided no further action, which was weird. And if you ever watch it, Mark Webber makes an probably the overtake ever. Best overtake ever in Formula One, which is Mark Webber through Eau Rouge and Radion again. But Piastri's move was one of the best. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Max then passed Leclerc for second, while Hamilton later reclaimed fourth from Piastri. Norris was making progress from 13th, moved past Lawson and Lindblad. But then we kind of get into the first kind of pit stop window. Kimi and Max made their stops. Mercedes completed a good enough pit stop to keep him in the net race lead. Lando continued moving forward and briefly reached podium positions while others stopped for their pit stops.
Yeah, and at that stage, the race looked like it was settling into Antonelli versus Verstappen battle, but then the virtual safety car changed everything.
Yes, Leclerc had stayed out longer than Max and Kimi. So when the virtual safety car was deployed, Ferrari naturally brought him in and he emerged ahead of Kimi.
Yeah, that turned the race on its head, really. Leclerc had managed his tyres really well, extended the first stint and benefited from the cheaper pit stop under the VSC. Suddenly, Ferrari were leading with fresher tyres.
Yes, and then Leclerc then passed Norris to take the effective race lead. But then Antonelli also cleared Lando and began chasing Leclerc down.
Yeah, that created a straight fight for victory. Leclerc had track position, but Antonelli had the faster car and the fresher momentum.
Yes, he did eventually get the run he needed up the Kemmel Straight. Charles tried to defend, but the Mercedes had enough speed and Kimi just moved into the lead.
Yeah, that was a decisive moment, really. Leclerc had executed Ferrari's strategy well, but once again, Antonelli got close enough. Ferrari did not have the straight line performance to keep him behind, basically.
Yeah, and then further back, Lewis continued recovering despite the penalty and earlier damage he picked up. Oscar Piastri struggled with the consequences of the contact with Charles Leclerc. Lando lost time with a slow pit stop, particularly with the rear left, which damaged his chances of finishing higher.
Yeah, that was costly for Norris. He had shown enough pace to potentially fight for the podium, starting 13th, already made his race difficult. But then the slow stop just added to another setback.
Yeah, it's not mentioned, but Lewis was again looked into for a potential penalty for an unsafe release in the pit lane. It looked like he was given the green light, but one of the mechanics quickly bolted in to get something and ended up getting tapped by Lewis's car. He was fine. Lewis was very concerned on the radio. Is he okay? They confirmed he was fine. And they've decided after the race, Hamilton himself wasn't given a penalty, but Ferrari was given a fine for it. So he didn't get penalised. And then the finish. Kimi took the checkered flag to win the Belgian Grand Prix by 1.9 seconds from Leclerc, who finished in second, and then Max finishing in third. Lewis crossed the line fourth, Piastri in fifth. Hadjar recovered from the back of the grid to finish sixth, just ahead of Lando in seventh. So I think driver of the week, really.
Yeah, Antonelli kept his head after losing the lead through strategy and made a pass when the opportunity came. Leclerc and Ferrari do deserve credit. They maximised their strategy and made Mercedes work for the victory.
They did, yeah. And Max said third was effectively the maximum available. Lewis felt he could have challenged for the win without the opening lap contact, the damage and the penalty. Oscar Piastri admitted the contact with Leclerc had made the rest of his race much harder, as it would. And Lando believed the pace had been good enough for a possible podium, but the strategy timing and the slow pit stop ultimately cost him.
Yeah, and Hadjar was one of the drivers of the day, starting at the back and finishing sixth. But if Lando hadn't had that penalty, I think he would have won the race. Predictions?
I think you're right. Genuinely, I do think you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, so quickly to go over last week's predictions. I predicted a pole for George and a win for George. That ended well. I put Max as my biggest surprise, Perez as the first retirement, and Verstappen as my driver of the weekend.
Yeah, that went well.
Yeah, I mean, George qualified fifth and was out on lap one.
So both your pole and winner predictions roughly lasted about a corner.
Correct, yeah. And Perez was not the first retirement because obviously that was Russell. But Verstappen did finish on the podium, but I don't think getting P3 when you started P2 makes him the biggest surprise or driver of the weekend.
I think we can safely call that 0 points.
Yep, I did really well. I'm looking to do better this week.
Okay.
What about... Go on.
How did I do?
It.
Okay.
Go on.
So I predicted Antonelli for pole and Antonelli for the win.
Yeah, so annoyingly you got both of them completely right.
I also predicted McLaren as the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
That one is debatable. Norris recovered from 13th to 7th, but both McLarens had complicated races. I still stick by it. If he was third on the grid, which is a surprise. And if he had the pace, I think he would have won the race if he hadn't had to think. So I'm taking that one.
I don't think you are.
But all right,
you also predicted Alonso as the first retirement, which was wrong. But you did have Hadjar as driver of the weekend.
Yeah. So one of us knows nothing, and one of us is still
very much learning.
I think it's a lot of luck. I mean, it's one of them. I think McLaren are on a comeback. But I am taking that one. From the back to sixth is one of the strongest drivers. Strongest drivers in the race, definitely.
Yeah. So you win that week comfortably.
This might be the easiest victory I've ever had.
Well, speaking of victories, Kimi's win gives him an even larger championship lead. Russell's first lap retirement was particularly damaging because he came into the weekend as Kimi's closest challenger. I'll read you a bit. But that is the biggest story.
Glory. I'm just bathing in my glory. Just give me a minute.
You've had one off. It's 1 week. Want to do your bit then? Come on. Show off.
That is the bigger story. Antonelli kept converting opportunities, while his main rivals kept losing points through instance penalties or technical problems. The championship lead becomes very difficult to overturn when the leader is winning on weekends where strategy briefly puts him on the back foot.
Yeah, strategy. Leclerc and Ferrari will take encouragement from finishing second on a circuit they expected to be difficult for them. Max remains consistently near the front, but Red Bull did not have enough pace to challenge Kimi throughout the race.
McLaren just need cleaner weekends. Both drivers had enough steam to achieve more than 5th and 7th. Penalties, contact, and operational problems limited the result.
Yes. So, next up, the Hungarian Grand Prix. The Hungaroring. I thought that's what you get when you have weight loss surgery. Is a very different challenge from Spa. It's slower, tighter, and much more dependent on downforce and qualifying position.
Which means overtaking will be more difficult. It puts even more pressure on the teams to qualify well and execute the strategies properly.
Yes. Aston Martin are expected to bring their much anticipated upgrade package. After a poor weekend in Belgium, they badly needed to work.
Yeah, Mercedes should be strong again, especially if Antonelli maintains this form. Ferrari may also be competitive because the circuit should suit their car that performs well through slower and medium speed corners. Red Bull will need more overall downforce than they required at Spa.
Yes. So, predictions for next week. Who do you get for pole?
Leclerc.
Okay. Grand Prix winner?
Kimi.
Biggest surprise?
Aston Martin.
First DNF?
Piastri.
Okay. And driver of the weekend?
I am going to go with Kimi.
Okay.
Because I think he's going to struggle in qualifying and stuff like that, and not get pole, and then bring it back in the race. And I think he'll have to fight for the inevitable victory. So pole position for you.
I've gone for Kimi.
Grand Prix winner?
Also Kimi.
Biggest surprise?
Portoletto.
Okay. First DNF?
Stroll. I don't think their upgrades are going to work and he's going to fuck it up.
Okay. And driver of the weekend?
I've gone for Lando.
Why?
Because I think he is going to finish... well, not finish. I think he's going to qualify 5th, 6th.
Right.
7th. And I think he's going to get a podium.
Okay. Well, let's hope so.
That's my prediction anyway.
Well, let's see how we do next week.
Yes. So that brings us to the end of our Belgian Grand Prix review. Kimi takes another victory and extends his championship lead. Charles gives Ferrari a strong second place. Hadjar produces what I'm going to call a brilliant recovery from the back of the grid.
Well, George Russell leaves Spa with no points after an opening lap retirement, and McLaren will feel they missed an opportunity to achieve much, much more.
Yes. So let us know your driver of the weekend and your predictions for Hungary in the comments. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on all the socials in the episode description. We will be back next week with our Hungary review. And then we've got our summer break. So we will still bring you weekly episodes during the summer break. But one of us is also having a summer break and has decided to go on holiday. So a couple of the episodes may be pre-recorded. But if there's anything particularly important that pops up in the news, I'll do a bit to camera and I'll add it at the beginning before I put the episode out. But yes, Tom has decided. Tom's decided to go on holiday.
Yes, I have. But like we say, follow all the socials. It doesn't mean to us. Put the stuff you want in the comments. Do you agree with our predictions? Do you disagree with our predictions? As you can see, I'm normally right, and we will see you next week for another episode of Under the Visor. Bye bye.
See you later.